What kind of difficulties you felt at the beginning, at the very beginning? So you were right to the masters, you knew you had to do a dissertation. Dissertation about what? How to choose my topic? Present them what are the possible research designs, how to create a research question, how to do a literature review, how to try to find information about the topic, then the different approaches, qualitative and quantitative. I don't know if this is something that I'm curious about, because I really don't know. I got the impression that you focus more on quantitative, and I'm curious about that. Also the mixed methods, something that I care, the plagiarism and ethics, something that sometimes is forgotten or not discussed, and then how to sit the bibliography and how to prepare the references and the format of the thesis. I use with my students. I always try to use active methods. So my students are always doing what you were doing here. Of course, I give a brief presentation. I have my material, the content that is available online in Moodle, so they can read it or watch movies or videos at home. And during my classes, they work like you are doing. Always group work, teamwork, or individual work, but they do this quite a lot. How are they assessed? In groups, they have to prepare an article, a short research, a very small research, because they only have 3 months. But the objective is that they are able to find a problem, even if it is something very simple, because my objective is not to go deep in any topic, but to help them to develop skills. And during the classroom, they are always with me. So any doubts, we can work together these doubts. So they find a problem, they formulate research questions, prepare the research design. We discuss what is the best research design, because sometimes the research designs, there are more than one possibility, and we try to see what are the benefits, the pros and cons of each research design. They gather data, they analyze data, and they write the article. So the vocabulary they need to use in research is a little bit different from the one that we use in our daily lives, so need they to develop and acquire that vocabulary. And sometimes they also present and defend the article in public, like you did the other day. And when this is not possible, I encourage students to look for a conference and submit to work there. I say when this is not possible. And this year, for the first time, I had a whole class of students coming from Brazil. So they were with me for 2 weeks, 2 intensive weeks, where I delivered all the contents, and then they went to Brazil, and of course it is not possible or very difficult to present the article in public because they are in Brazil and in Portugal. So what they have to do is to look for a conference and submit to work and go to the conference, and the public will be a little bit different. And then individually they start to prepare the dissertation, the master dissertation. Again, they identify the problem, the question, do the literature review, design the research, how they will do that, how they will collect the data, what kind of analysis and so on, and write the research proposal. And all the decisions need to be justified. So I can accept a qualitative approach or a quantitative one, but I need to defend and justify very well why they choose one and not the other. Okay, and individually they do all the work outside the classroom, and they are appointed a supervisor, and in groups they are always with me. So in class it's like the preparation or the practice to do the work individually at home. So, so you can see what are the main problems that they mentioned. For them, the main problems, so yes, are the research. First, the identification of the ideas. It is really difficult. This is like a white piece of paper. They don't know where to start. I don't know what kind of topic. I like everything and I'm not interested in anything, so what should I select? Then the literature review, so finding the information, but not only finding information, reading the information, it is difficult. Selecting the information, so first finding, then selecting, and then reading. And selecting, I try to give him some advices on how to select the papers or the books that they should read, but even with that, everything was interesting. And okay, why not this one, and why not that one, and why not that one? Everything is interesting. No, please bear in mind that you need to your idea, your problem, or your idea is to answer your research problem, not to find other interesting topics, but just focus. This is why it is so important to have a very clear research question. And then they say the research design, and something curious, it's some of the students say, even before to find a problem, I want to do a questionnaire with the leaders of the organizations. But a questionnaire, how do you know it is a questionnaire? Why not go in for an interview? You will have deeper information, more information about something. So some of them start with the research design, start with the tool to gather data, instead of starting with the research question. And finally, so here, okay, and I believe this happens not so high, because they are not at that stage yet, but then the write is again another problem. How to write it, the vocabulary, the structure, you have to justify everything, you have to provide information, or enough information, as I told you yesterday, how to write a paper. So they are already having some problems here. So to start is one of the problems, or ethnographic or something else, and then writing. And I'm curious to know if these results are similar to yours. So all students have the same problem. So we need to find a way to help you. Okay, this is something that I went to the literature. No, not literature. I also had an open question and asked them to be more precise. So the first one was the questionnaire, so closed questions. And at this stage, I asked them to write in more detail so I could understand better what they mean with the results. So lack of scientific vocabulary. To do the connection between the ideas and compare with other previous work. So these are my results. How can I compare them to what the others have already done? Or identify the bibliography, again information. Determine the method and write in scientific language. The literature review, they say the tendency is to give your own opinion, not what the others have said or to interpret what the others have said, but to say, I think we should, but we cannot say it this way. Define the scope in research, in particular when there is already some material for the topic, again the literature review, the upper rules, so how to prepare the references according to these rules, literature review, methodology, the structure of the document, find bibliography, do citations, writing, lack of time to read. They work and study at the same time. Differences between the Portuguese and Brazilian norms. There are, although the Portuguese is the language, the Brazilian Portuguese is sometimes very different from ours. The same word may have two different meanings, and sometimes not a nice one in one of the countries. So they have some difficulty in finding the right words, not to offend anyone. Delimitate the topic, identify the methodology again, research questions, problems with supervisor. Also, I had some problems. I had to solve the problems between the student and supervisor. The supervisor didn't, the supervisor replied to the student, to the emails of the student, but the student thought the supervisor should reply faster. 24 hours is too long for them, so they want it immediately. They cannot wait. They have a question and they want an answer immediately. And this is the problem of the distance. Okay, so again, gathering bibliography, select the research methods, cite articles, make connections between different parts of our work, or establish the focus of research. You can see that there are some items that are repeated in different lines because these represent the answers of all the students. So you see some of the topics are repeated. And just to sum up, so lack of time to read and collect material, lack of knowledge about how to do research, lack of knowledge how to write a scientific text because of the vocabulary, the sentences, and to link ideas, to select, actuate research approach, to formulate research questions, search for bibliography, the adequate one. When you do a search, you may find thousands of results, but how to select those that are really important for our research. The literature review, so the tendency is to write students' opinions instead of what they found in literature, and to cite and to quote. So how do I organize my classes? So first, at first class, I always try to understand what my students already know about research or how to do research. My students may be regular students, meaning that they finish their graduation and they enroll immediately at the master, or like I had this year, they may be more than 40 or sometimes more than 50. And sometimes they have more than one more than one bachelor degree. So I don't know what kind of students I have in my class. I may have students in their 20s or in their 40s, and probably the background, the experience and knowledge is different. So the first thing I do is to have this feeling about what they already know. I also try to find where they are working and what may be interesting for each of them. So this year all of them are working, and I thought probably the most interesting topic for them is to research something about the context where they are working. Instead of me giving a topic, I will try them to bring to the classroom their experience and their problems, and I will help them to solve those problems. So the answers will define my starting point. So it might vary from one year to the other year. And next step, I try to organize groups because they have to prepare an article. And this is very important because besides the technical knowledge, they also need to develop some other kinds of skills like communication, negotiation, collaboration, leadership. And even if they do not like the colleague, they will have to work with this colleague because this is what happens in real life. We need to work with everyone, and so they have a task, and they have to find a solution for that task. What I say is that what the topic for the article in groups can be related with the topic for dissertation. So when they start gathering information, they are already burning some steps or working for the dissertation. So what I do is I present the contents of the program, so I give a tutorial, probably 20 minutes in the class of 1 hour and a half. After each topic or content, students are invited to apply the knowledge in the article or in the research they are developing in group. Individually, they also think about how the content can be used to develop the topic for dissertation. So my classes have always a theoretical part and a practical part. And then also a moment of discussion where everyone shares what they have learned, what they think about it, what are their reflections about the topic. And this approach is used throughout the semester. So always theory in practice, in parallel with practice. And I don't know how it is done here, and afterwards I would like to have your feedback about it, so I can also take your lessons to Portugal. At the end of the semester, whenever possible, they have to present the article in public, in the classroom, and they answer some questions, like you did. I encourage all students to ask questions to the group that is presenting the work. Actually, those students that are passively listening to the group, they are also being evaluated. They need to ask questions, and they will have points if they ask questions. Okay, this means that they were paying attention and they are making connections between what colleagues are doing and their own life or something like that. So just listening passively is not good. They have to, okay, let's ask some questions to these colleagues, just to clarify something. What we have done for 3 years now is to organize a master colloquium, not only for my master, but for all the masters at my school. We organize a colloquium. We have a call for candidates, and all the candidates to go to this master must still be in the process of developing the master. So students, but they have it in advanced level, and they present it to the other colleagues and to the other teachers. And at least 2 teachers, that not the supervisor or myself, are entitled to ask questions or to prepare some comments and questions to ask to that student. Okay? And in this way, they feel and experience a different environment, have a different type of audience, and different way of asking questions. So imagine that you are being supervised by one of these teachers here, but in the master colloquium, they will not ask you questions, it will be other teachers. You don't know who, but other teachers will ask you questions. And probably the perspective of that teacher will be different from your supervisor, and this will help you to develop your work. Or even when you are stuck in a certain point of your research, probably this will give you another, oh, I didn't think about this before, but okay, I will do this. And this helps a lot. Although students do not like it. They are very stressed and they are not confident enough, but this is really good. So, and now I would like you to share with us the results of your reflection. We can start with the students and then we go to the teachers. So, what are your main problems at the start of the research process? No, this one. No? Okay. Okay.
First of all, to choose the topic, because many students are graduated from another faculties and they just don't know what to choose and how to start, and they don't know even what is relevant for scientific society our skills. That was the main problem.
More than they should be relevant and so on. It was not so easy to find them in a limited time.
I'm sorry, do you have more difficulties?
Yeah.
You mentioned yes?
The another difficulty is how to organize the design of the work and how to choose the right ideas. Because like I said, I have a lot of things that I wanted to take and I don't know what is better to include it in my work.
And how to combine them.
Yeah, and how to combine
If
it.
it's a design.
Yeah.
Okay. And you?
So my problem was approximately the same, also to identify the field of the research, and my supervisor could help me by giving an advice of just think of what you are interested in or in at what sphere you good, and after that, after some thinking process, I found the sphere and the field, and now it is jewelry and branding in this sphere, and so I found Tiffany & Co. because I'm really I really appreciate this brand, and since the childhood I'm in jewelry industry because my family has business in jewelry, so that was very interesting. Yeah, but now I still have some problems with my research because I have some special character, for example, slow reading process, because when I start doing something, I do it really deep and very accurate, and of course it's rather slow process, and that's very big problem. Moreover, I have a lot of fear, frankly speaking, because I'm not confident and I'm not sure that I could really help for example, such successful company as Tiffany & Co. And I'm really stressed now. So that's my situation.
And when you start selecting your topic, you already have a supervisor, or the supervisor comes after your...
No, I've already had Elena Alexandrovna.
Okay.
Yes,
because in my case, it's me, after the student selects the topic, according to the topic, I appoint the supervisor. Okay, so in my class, I help them to choose the topic, and they say, I want logistics, I want psychology, to study motivation in the workplace, and then logistics, I call my colleague, I have two students for you, and I put them in contact. For psychology, I have two colleagues for you, and I put them in contact. So I help them to select the topic, and then I point to the supervisor. Okay, and then they can develop the topic and the problem with supervisor, so they can narrow the topic, like you said, it's everything important. No, they try to narrow the topic with supervisor. But when I point to supervisor, they already know the area, in which area they want to do the research.
But as far as I know, we had to connect our field of research with our study program. That's why it was rather difficult, because I don't like a lot of analyzing processes and a lot of database work with database and something with figures, because I'm more creative personality. And but we had to connect with some economics and some programming and something like that. So.
And your difficulties?
Now this is my turn. So as for me, the main difficulty was to find a topic I was interested in enough to work on it during the year, because you know it means a lot. Then I faced lack of some official figures, because my topic is directly connected with economic processes and forecasting them. As my supervisor, Elena Alexandrovna, helped me a lot to find out what sphere would fit my interests, my scientific interests. And also she recommended me some official web pages with very relevant information. And at the very beginning, I was frightening by econometric modeling and methods this discipline uses. When time passed, I realized that it's a very practical oriented tool for those who are interested in forecasting and predicting any processes in economics. So I become more comfortable even with huge mathematical formulas, and now I understand what do they mean. And you know, being not a bachelor but being almost a master, I would like to do a research in topic and in sphere that would be very helpful for me in future. So it's very important to choose the right one. Yes, and you know, according to your words and according to your
the problems of having the students only 2 weeks per year, in my case, and the difference with having them for 3 months is that in 3 months they have already started doing the proposal and the research, and I accompany them every week, twice a week. And so they come to class and they can share the difficulties they have. And this between October and January. With only 2 weeks, mid-October till the end of January, I'm not with students. They just contact me sporadically by email. So they are alone in another country, in another continent. And I believe that this for them is even more difficult. And this is one of the problems of distance learning. I don't know if you also have distance learning here or not, but we have, at least in my faculty, we have this kind of students. And it is, I know it is a struggle, an individual struggle, but you need to make the most of the time you are at school with your colleagues and your supervisors and teachers. Because now, the 4 of you, and if you have more colleagues, all of you, have exactly the same problems, have the same feelings, the same lack of confidence, the same fears. Even if your colleagues don't say it, they also have fears. So you are together, and you can support each other. You can imagine if you were alone at home, without teachers, without supervisor, without colleagues, this would be more difficult. So try to make the most of the fact that you are together and you are feeling exactly the same, even if your colleagues don't mention it. Yes? And now I would like to know the opinion of the teachers.
I choose several problems. First problem for my students always the searching of data. Because not each student understands that is a very important basis for research, because without this data you couldn't know something interesting or some problems or some tendencies and so on. And first, this is a big problem, I think. A second problem is plagiarism, because sometimes students choose some monographs, articles of our authors, and add this material as own, and don't know how to say their own opinion in the text of master's thesis, how to analyze, how to compare some opinions, what kind of definitions should be in this part of text. All students have a big lag between topic and the content of part of master's thesis, as always. Next problem is timetable, because we have only 2 years, and during these 2 years we have some rules for master's thesis, and we should prepare step by step some parts, and for these parts we have different kinds of disciplines during our schedule and timetable of student study here. And the rules in Russian Federation, I suppose, the more stronger than maybe in Portugal, because we have 3 parts, we should add some model, we should analyze many sets of data basis, and we should create some maybe first step for PhD with our students, because master's for us is a first step for students as a lecture. Next problem is calculation and modeling. Sometimes students don't know how to use some programs, how to work with several sets of formulas. We don't know what is A, what is B, and what is equal between A and B. Sometimes the school basis, and sometimes we should explain our students firstly school math, then we will continue with high school math, and it's a big problem. Sometimes students don't understand that if you don't know something, some formulas, some logarithms, you should read something before lecture. You know the topic of lecture, and you should read before if you don't know something. And then here we will explain with orientation on this basis. If you don't know some simple calculations, you should search and you should study by yourself, I suppose. And sometimes we try as a lecturers to explain simple steps in math, and then we'll continue with modeling. And it's a great work for us to give students some skills to do research, to start with theory, to try to find all methodology. Sometimes this is a combination between econometrics and economics. Sometimes there is a combination, and we add some part of management, how to do analysis, how to describe your tables, because sometimes students put only empty tables without figures and try to describe something don't know about problems.
This is curious what you are saying. I have the same problem in the master where I work, because the candidates can come from any kind of field, from law, from economics, from languages, from psychology, education, and so on. And there are some students that come, for instance, from languages that do not have the knowledge about how to do calculations, how to use statistics and use the SPSS and things like that. And I try to convince them to enroll in an option related with quantitative methods, and they refuse. But when they come to me, to my curricular unit, sometimes they want to do surveys, questionnaires, and to analyze data. And for them to analyze data, it's just to do the average, to calculate the average of the mean, to calculate the mean of everything. But I said, no, but this is not enough. This is very basic. You need to do something else, do more analysis. But I'm coming from languages. I don't know nothing about quantitative methods. So you should enroll in that unit in order to learn. But I don't like math. I do not want to do that. So this is, so you were saying about your languages. I had some kind of students and exactly the same problem. And they try to avoid math. No, I don't like it. This is not my field. I'm coming from languages. My math stayed far away in the past. You need that. If you want to do a questionnaire, you need to know something more than just the basics. So the students are exactly the same.
But in previous years, I asked some German lecturer from German university where I was, how you to improve the skills of students who don't know corporate finance, management, like linguistics, or some students that which have some skills in math. And this lecturer said to me that this is a problem of student. If student doesn't know the theory of math or basis of corporate finance, these students should study the basis that we, because we explain advanced level of this subject at master's program by yourself. This is a problem of student. We couldn't explain anything or everything.
Yes.
That was in press. If students decided and choose this master's program, these students should study some basis that we had in bachelor's programs by yourself. In Germany, this rule.
That's how they do this.
Yeah.
We try to give more guidance and support to the students.
Yeah. And here in Portugal, we support as much as possible, I think.
Yes, we support the students. And when they do not have the knowledge about the statistics, I try to find a colleague and to ask him in 6 hours, so 4 classes, so we come, and just the basics of the SPSS and how to use it, how to use the menus, and what are the basic statistics that they can use. I try to invite a colleague, and so they can use my hours in order to do that. I do this. Yeah, this is not, probably it is not usual, but I cannot see a student struggling with with all that statistics alone. I always try to find a way to help and give some kind of support. And the second question, do you have something for the second question? How to help? Let's see what kind of help students want.